But now the big ones, Bitcoin and Ethereum, are cascading. I'm beginning to wonder whether one day, sometime soon, we won't even need to have these quoted on the side of the television screen anymore. Won't need, or maybe shouldn't. I think it's time we start questioning the fundamentals of crypto.
Yes, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin. I want to share this video with you in full. This is CNBC's Jim Cramer, officially on record that cryptocurrency is bad and he should have never invested in the first place. Jim Cramer just questioned whether crypto should be reported on at all and says he was wrong to, even though he made money on it. I'm at least big enough to admit this time I was wrong about crypto. Let me share with you the first half of this clip, a piece of which you've already seen, and then afterwards, in today's video, I want to share with you why Jim Cramer is wrong about being wrong. We'll take a look at his calls, a timeline over the last 2 years, where historically his calls have often been a good counter trade with crypto. We'll revisit this historic moment on The Daily Show where Jon Stewart hammered Jim Cramer over his massively wrong call about the collapse of the '07 housing market, and then share with you the second half of this clip where Jim Cramer calls out specific altcoins, as well as go into the real reason that the Bitcoin price continues to go down. Like always, check the timestamps down below, smash the like button, and let's jump in with Jim Cramer from yesterday talking about crypto. Watch this.
But now the big ones, Bitcoin and Ethereum, are cascading. I'm beginning to wonder whether one day, sometime soon, we won't even need to have these quoted on the side of the television screen anymore. Won't need, or maybe shouldn't. I think it's time we start questioning the fundamentals of crypto. And I don't like when we question the dot-com movement in 2000, 2001. When all things crypto took off with great fanfare, like the dot-com bombs, we were told that they were stores of value, that they meant something, that they would be around for a long time. I believe that rap. 300 of them went out of business. I'm at least big enough to admit that this time I was wrong about crypto. I wish the real promoters would do the same. Just because you make money in it, which I was fortunate enough to do, doesn't necessarily mean that it's for real.
Wow. And that is where the first half of this clip cuts off. Keep listening. I do have the second clip I do want to share with you later in today's video. But this is Jim essentially saying that crypto is dead. It's not coming back. It was a bubble that popped, and he's sorry for ever bringing it up. And for perspective, let me share with you a timeline of Jim Cramer's journey into crypto in the first place. This chart is from the start of 2020 to present day where we are now. It was back at the very end of 2020. Bitcoin was about to break $20,000, break all-time highs, and go on a massive bull run when Jim Cramer puts out there, Bitcoin's chart suggests buyers beware, encouraging you to stay out of the market, i.e. don't buy cryptocurrency. Now, this did cause a price dip at the time. After all, this was FUD on the market. But then, for the next several months, Bitcoin rallied stronger. Jim then issued a bullish tweet, which was, in hindsight, the top of the market, pay me in Bitcoin, back in April 2021. He then got bullish on ETH about a month later. I am a huge believer in Ethereum and Bitcoin, but not Doge, sorry. So he was signaling his bullishness as the market was about to head into a multi-month correction. Then, next up in June, right at this local bottom, Jim tweeted, sold all my Bitcoin to buy a farm, still have some Ethereum. Which game? Which game? Anyway, he sold at the local bottom. We then rallied for the next multi-months. And then cut to 2022. This just happened yesterday. Cramer says, avoid all speculative investments like crypto as the Fed stays hawkish.
Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday!
Damn, I could have used this information a little while ago. A lot of this has already happened. And how does this affect you as a crypto holder? Well, nothing is guaranteed, but just know that CNBC in general, and Jim Cramer in this case specifically, has always been a good counter trade. Like this chart right here, when they get bullish, we often see bearish. When they get bearish, we often see bullish. Not every time, but many, many, many times throughout history. And I want to finish this clip where Jim Cramer calls out specific altcoins he's bearish on. But very quickly, let me remind you of this apology tour Jim Cramer went on after the '08 housing crisis, where Jim, on his own show, days before the financial collapse, told everybody the market was sound, Bear Stearns was solid. Of course, we then saw the exact opposite. It was a huge financial collapse. And on The Daily Show, Jon Stewart brings up this 2006 clip of Jim Cramer educating how to manipulate a market. All this is, of course, just context to give you the most information today as a crypto holder. This is about a 90-second clip. Watch this.
And there's the people who say they only make good calls, and they're liars. I try really hard to make as many good calls as I can.
I think the difference is not good call, bad call. Okay. The difference is real market and unreal market. Let me show you. This is you ran a hedge fund.
Yes, I did for many years.
All right.
You know, a lot of times when I was short at my hedge fund and I was positioned short, meaning I needed it down, I would create a level of activity beforehand that could drive the futures. It doesn't take much money.
What does that mean?
Okay, this was a hyperbolic example of what I was trying to get people to. You had a great piece about short selling earlier.
Yes, that's
I've been trying to rein in short selling, trying to expose what really happens. This is what goes on. What I'm trying to say is, and I didn't do this, but I'm trying to explain to people, this is the shenanigans.
It sounded like you were talking about that you had done it.
Then I was inarticulate because I did trade. I barely traded the futures, but I will say this. I am trying to expose the stuff, exactly what you guys do, and I'm trying to get the regulators to look at it.
Well, see, that's interesting. Roll 210.
Sure. I would encourage anyone who's in the hedge fund game to do it because it's legal,
right?
And it's a very quick way to make money and very satisfying.
Okay.
Well, by the way, no one else in the world would ever admit that, but I don't care.
That's right, and you can say that here.
I can't. I'm not going to say it on TV.
It's on TV now.
I want the Jim Cramer on CNBC to protect me from that Jim Cramer.
I think the way you do that is to show, okay, that's...
All right. And that's where my clip, at least, gets cut off. Give me your thoughts on this down below. My point in all this is not to vilify Jim. He's had some good calls as well. He's had bad ones and good ones. But when he comes at cryptocurrency so hard, like yesterday, basically writes off the whole market, essentially telling his viewers that crypto is over, that's wrong. I won't stand for that. Now let's finish this clip from yesterday of Jim Cramer calling out specific bad, quote-unquote, altcoin projects. Watch this.
So where do all these selling avalanches put us? Look, Fed Chief Jay Powell told us that we need to stop doing stupid things with our money. That was the real thrust of his speech on Friday. He's going to bring the pain until it puts an end to the gambling. Of course, he'll also hurt some good investments in the process, not just the chits at the dog track, but we can't. That's a crypto dog track, like used to be the Wonderland, Zion kennels. They're total winners. But we won't see the end of this decline until we get a giant washout of all things that are speculative, that don't make money. This is what it looks like when the Fed gets serious. This is the charnel house. What matters is that we just have to get through it intact. Don't get mean, don't get spacked, and don't get cryptoed. And you'll get through this thicket and find yourself in a much better time when we are sufficiently oversold for a huge bounce. Something has happened we're getting very close to if you follow the oscillator that I do. Bottom line, and this is really important, I need you to stay the heck away from unprofitable junk. Profitable's fine. Oil's fine. Profitable oil, profitable tech's fine. I need you to stay away from the sold-out SPACs, the ridiculous IPOs, and get ready. Dogecoin, Polkadot, DAI, Polygon, Shiba, Avalanche, Uniswap, Cosmos, Golem, Old Golem, Optimism, Kyber, Tribe Request, Rally, my neighbor Alice, League of Kingdoms, and a couple of other really solid investments that I can get you as long as you like blockchain. There's no point to any of this stuff beyond separating you from your money.
Wow. Again, give me your thoughts on this down below. But he's essentially writing off an entire space, an entire emerging sector, because global markets are crashing. And last but not least, the real reason that Bitcoin, that markets are correcting, is because we're seeing a 20-year high on the DXY. 20-year high for the strength of the US dollar relative to other major fiat currencies. So yes, even though we're seeing record inflation as well, and the purchasing power of US dollar is nothing compared to what it was 5, 10, 20 years ago, we're killing it. Our garbage is better than all those other countries' garbage. And demand for the US dollar is going up, relatively speaking. And that is the video. My name's Austin. Thanks everybody for the birthday wishes. My brother and I are going out in the town in Los Angeles tomorrow. But appreciate all your birthday wishes today, because today is the day. And by the way, breaking. Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy are being sued for tax fraud by the DC Attorney General. We will cover this much more tomorrow. Ran out of time today. But like always, see you then.